Talk WSIC and Purple Heart Homes present Putting the Pieces Back Together, a forum for veterans and the community to connect. Here are your hosts, veterans John Galena and Brad Borders.
Wow, that's a great intro.
Good Thursday morning and welcome to Putting the Pieces Back Together.
I like the way that guy says your name.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing.
It's
I like
impressive.
the way he says your name.
It's in Brad Borders, right?
Always.
Sounds like one of those guys
impressive.
that does the, In a World, right? The
Attention
movie
on
intro
deck.
guy, right? Yeah, right, all that. So, hey, good morning. Happy Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Yeah, soon to be New Year. What a great day, too. Last Thursday of the year.
Yep.
Last show of the year. Excited?
Last show of the year, and it's live, right? We didn't do like other folks, like pre-record. We could have done that, but
Well,
we decided to do it live and in person.
Once in a while, we might have to do that.
Yeah, welcome to everybody listening live on WSIC and then on the Facebooks, on the interwebs, all of them. And good morning, everybody. It's good to be here.
I heard from a few of our listeners this last week, and they said they like hearing you give me a hard time. I'm not real sure what to think about that.
That's a daily occurrence, right? We work together every day, and so after working together for 5 years, you tend to find humor in a lot of
Maybe we should
things.
just have a full all-day live show of harassing John.
Or we could just have a full all-day live show of us how to edit Google documents. So.
Now wait a minute. Let's not spill all my dirty laundry here on air that I don't know how to edit Google documents.
Sorry.
And just because I
You know how to edit
your
them, you just don't know how to save them.
just because I erased your show notes for today, you found out at
It's a
7:30 this morning.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing we remember what we're doing.
That's right.
Because
That's
we are
right.
professionals. Don't try this at home.
Yep. So real quick, just a shout out to our sponsors here for the show of Putting the Pieces Back Together, Cook's Headers. Thank you.
Awesome.
Welcome Home Vets down in Mooresville.
Great organization.
Great living veterans museum. Really proud of them.
Go
and,
down there,
all they
Main
do.
Street in Mooresville.
Yep, that's right. People from all around the country come out to visit them, and they got a great book of honor you can sign in on, and always well received.
Hey, is your picture in that book down there?
Lord, no, that'd run everybody off.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, Lake Mountain Coffee in Statesville.
Awesome.
Great roasted coffee. Only roastery here in Statesville. Glad to have them.
Is it called Roastery? Is that what it is? Is it
Coffee
a
roaster? Coffee
Roastery?
roastery?
Okay,
Roaster.
roast.
I'm not real sure.
All right.
I'm sure somebody can call in on a fat line and correct me.
That's right.
I'm sure there's lots of other people out there that want to harass me too.
Yes.
So how about a new sponsor coming on, a fellow veteran, combat surgeon, and friend, Dr. Grant Campbell.
I know, and Grant is friends with a lot of guys I used to work with. I'm glad I never had to be under Grant's knife at any time or way, shape, or form. And but he's an amazing guy, and he saved a lot of lives.
He sure has made a huge impact over the pond and here in the States, and so we're thankful for Colonel Campbell and all his work and his service.
Awesome.
And we got the call-in line. If you want to call and leave us a message there on the fat line, that's 704-761-8328 or 704-761-8FAT.
Yeah, the fat line. Right.
I don't understand.
after
No, wait a
all the
minute.
eating I've done, it could be apropos.
I get harassed about word pronunciation, but you come up with a fat line.
Well,
and
it
that's
didn't
cool.
spell anything else, so it did spell another word, but I can't say it on the air. So there you go.
All right.
So speaking of fat, people this time of year, they're leaning into the new year, new start, New Year's resolutions. So you were mentioning before the show that you might have a New Year's resolution. So what might that be?
Well, for the last couple of years, as you said, we've known each other for about 5 years. You're, really a physical fitness stud, and so I thought last year, I'd do this whole biking thing, and you did take that hill, and
You bought a Peloton.
I bought a Peloton. I do ride it occasionally, but now that I got to get up early for the show, it kind of knocked off my Thursdays.
It's not that early.
That fell off, So, but I thought about a New Year's resolution this year. I thought, hey, I could get a viral TikTok video, and then as I was riding in, I thought, Brad's already done that. I don't know that I could do that either, and so I just kind of settled on. I'm just going to stop lying to myself about New Year's resolutions, and that is my New Year's resolution.
My New Year's resolution is no more resolutions.
I thought that was a pretty good one.
That is a pretty good one. Well, that takes all the pressure off.
Definitely takes the pressure off.
Yeah.
No viral TikToks.
It's funny, man. When I used to work out at the Y here in Statesville a lot back a long time ago, and we would I had a group of folks that we were kind of regulars, and after the first of the year, you would see a whole new crop of people come in, and then we would always look, and we were, all right, who's going to stick it out, right? Because by 1st of February, the gym was back to not having a lot of people, as many people as was at the beginning of January. But there would always be like one or two people that like stuck it out, and that became a part of their habit, right? And they stuck it out, and they made physical fitness, kind of like a thing in their life. And resolutions are I think they're, in a lot of ways, they're really good, right? To look at do some self-examination and go, okay, I need to change this about my life. I need to do something different. But they can be very hard. I think they're hard to do by yourself. They're hard to do without the right tools. So you need a community of people to hold you accountable and to build a team around any kind of change that
So
you're going to
both
make.
starting resolutions, starting new habits, and stopping some bad habits
sure.
or old habits.
Could be start or stop. Yeah.
But I think the one thing that really we need more than anything in the country is as a nation, as a society, just to have a resolution to love people, help people, recognize people, have empathy with people.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what I was going to say, because yesterday when I was doing my my early morning reading time and listening to the Bible on an app I use, the reading for today was out of 1 John. It was talking about if we love God, we love people, right? And so the person kind of on the audio was like, why don't you this year resolve to love people more? So that's
I knew you were going to say
that you brought that up. So.
Yeah, I wanted to. That's why I erased your show notes today.
Right. Yeah. So that's my resolution, to be better at loving people.
All right. So we got this day in history. Tell us a little bit about what's going on in history.
80 years ago today, Winston Churchill gave a speech to the Parliament in Canada. He was over visiting. So it was just a few weeks after Pearl Harbor. The Battle of Britain was on, and Churchill made this famous speech where he called Hitler and his Nazi gang, he called them that, and he said, they have asked us for total war. Let us make sure they get it, right? And so there's a new movie out on Netflix you can watch about Winston Churchill, starring Gary Oldman, that's really good. And so Churchill was a unique individual, kind of a legend in history. Had all kinds of witty things to say to people, and in fact, there was this one woman that came up to him at a party one night, and he had a couple of too many libations, and said, "Mr. Churchill, you are drunk," and he said, "Yes, ma'am, I am, but in the morning I shall be sober, and you will still be ugly." So that was the kind of person he was. He was a curmudgeon, all right. And so if you don't know what a curmudgeon is, it is defined as a bad-tempered person, especially an old one, right? And so speaking of that, brings us to our guests today, and we only have one of our curmudgeons joining us today. And Dave Childers, his brother Don, the other curmudgeon, is at home listening because he has a sniffle or two, and he didn't want to give that to anyone. And so we're very, very excited to have our two most famous Marine Corps twin brothers in Statesville here with us today. One on the premises with us, and one at home. And then Dave also has someone else, couple of persons with him that are very special to him, and I'll let him introduce them. But they are candidates. Dave and Don are candidates for the most interesting brothers in the world, and so hopefully they'll win that this year when the voting starts in 2022.
So Dave, I know he's calling you a curmudgeon, but let me just say that curmudgeons can love people too, and you got a great heart. We're thrilled for all your support over the years, for your service, and really honored to have you here on the show.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I'm proud and very happy to be here with you, man.
Why don't you introduce your family here and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay. First, I'd like to introduce my wife, Rahima. She's originally from Kosovo, Podievo, Kosovo. She's an American citizen now. We've been married 20 years.
Wow.
And I'm still alive, so
Yeah.
I'm doing something right.
Yeah, you did something right.
Right. And
Was she a police officer in Kosovo?
she was a police officer. She was one of the first females selected through the UN's women's police program.
Right.
Kind of like our Marine Corps' Lioness program in Iraq. They went in and they searched for women that would fit in as police officers. Her father was a police officer for many years, and she was one of the first accepted. Matter of fact, she was given quite a few citations for heroism, bravery, things
Yeah.
like that.
Very cool. Now, Dave, I've heard of a lot of American soldiers and Marines marrying nurses from overseas, but I've never heard of one getting arrested and then bringing the
Yeah,
police
is that how that
officer home.
happened?
Is that
Did she have you up against the wall and like, hey, freeze, spread them?
That came later.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That came later.
No, I seen her. I was assigned to the British Army with those crazies.
Right.
And I seen her standing in the lobby of the police station, and I'd been divorced for 20 years, and I went, that one.
Wow.
That's the one I'm marrying.
Wow.
I don't know where that came from. God.
Right.
God said that's the one.
You had to convince her, I'm sure, at some point.
I did.
Right.
I did. Took a lot of effort because her English was non-existent,
Yeah.
although she could cuss and swear like a world
Right.
champion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her English is better than yours now, so that's pretty impressive.
That's
Right.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
This is little Dita right here. This is my service dog. She's 9 years old. She's been with me for many years, and she's a savior for
Yeah.
sure.
looks
Amen.
like she's sleeping like a baby in here
Yeah.
with all our commotion.
Yep. She's good. She goes everywhere. She's been on jet airplanes. She's been in hotels. She's been at the ocean. She's been just about everywhere you can
You
go.
take pictures of her everywhere y'all go, too.
Yes,
So
sir.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
awesome.
Dave, you grew up here in Statesville. You joined the Marine Corps. You go to Kosovo. You turn around. You've been to a few other deployments as well. Share a little bit about that with us.
Okay. To make clear, I went to the Marine Corps right out of high school. It was during the Jimmy Carter administration. Mm-hmm. Disaster. Mm-hmm. Absolute disaster. Got out of there, went in to the Army Reserves. Was a little better than the Marine Corps Reserves, actually. The supervision was better. Things were a lot better at that time. Reagan had come into office by that point. Mm-hmm. And went into law enforcement here in North Carolina. And how I ended up overseas was after 9/11, right? Something clicked and said, well, you got to do something. I was sitting on a chair doing nothing, working for myself. And a friend of mine had gone to Kosovo as a peacekeeper. And I was invited to his welcome home party, and I asked him, I said, how did you do that? Explain to me what it's like over there. He said, I can't explain to you. He said, you have to see it to believe it. Tell me how I can see it. So to stay on track, I went to work for the State Department through DynCorp International as a contractor. Mm-hmm. That's how my overseas missions came into play. So I did. I applied for them, was eventually accepted as a peacekeeper in Kosovo, police trainer, and that's where I met Raheem over there. I was embedded with the British Army, which was an incredible experience. Mm-hmm. And then March 2003 came, right? And the British were, I was with a infantry unit, the 1st Staffordshires at that point, and they were called to the desert, and they sent in the Army of the Czech Republic, which was basically a new army, barely 15 years old at that point. And that was an experience.
And that was time in Iraq. You were in Iraq with the Czechs.
No, I was in Iraq with Kosovo still.
Okay.
Now, when I got to Iraq, they sent me to Fallujah. Right out of Baghdad to Fallujah, and I was embedded with the Marines there for 18 months.
Right.
Yeah.
That was fairly kinetic activity there. Yeah.
The State Department did an excellent job in training and preparing us for what we were going to do. Mm-hmm. But as you know, training just doesn't equal the real deal.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's very different.
When I seen Fallujah, I was stunned. I was stunned. Mm-hmm. And when we first arrived, and we were riding through Fallujah on our way to Camp Fallujah, the Marine Corps camp, I was stunned. Mm-hmm. By it, and then, but the whole time I'm thinking, God Almighty, that He sent me with the Marines, right, and nowhere else, because this is in my heart and soul. This is where I wanted to be, is with the Marines.
Yeah.
And that was an 18-month experience. That was something else. After that, I was home a short while. State Department calls and says, "Hey, can you go to Afghanistan?" I should have said no, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
Right? I shouldn't have went. Because that's really what did me in. But I went. I was embedded at a State Department camp in Kabul for 6 months, and then went to Kandahar. Worked at the airport in Kandahar. So, covering that span, I've been called many names: peacekeeper, IPLO, International Police Liaison Officer, mentor, police mentor, and most recently, a friend of mine up in Pennsylvania said, when I explained to him what I did, he said, "Oh, mercenary."
Right. Yeah.
I said, call it what you want.
Right.
All I know is I did what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
So Dave, we all go to these deployments, and no matter what uniform you're wearing, you can't be in a combat zone and not come out with a certain amount of baggage that maybe you didn't carry in. And
Yes, sir.
and with that, you've written a book, God Sent the Dog, and
Yes.
share with us how the book came about and how that helped you and how that made a difference in your life.
Yeah. Brad brought a program to Iredell County, Reboot Combat Recovery. And I was basically dragged there,
Yep.
kicking and screaming the whole way.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, the first night in there, I walked out.
Yep.
I was going to escape, John.
You was.
I was set to escape, and I ran out the door and ran right into him. Where are you going, Dave?
I remember that conversation very, very clearly. He said, "You've got 5 seconds to tell me why I should be in here." And evidently, out of all the 21,000 veterans in Iredell County, the 3 that showed up to reboot, Dave didn't particularly care for one of the other guys. Right? Out of everybody that could have come to the class, Dave knew.
Curmudgeon.
Yeah, he was curmudgeonly. So I said, "Dave, 5 seconds is not a long time. Will you give me 30?" And then 30 seconds later, we were back in the class, and I'm glad you stayed, and it turned out to be a really good experience. Right?
It did. And I told my wife that night, she said, "Was it okay?" I said, "I'm never going back." I said, the memories that rushed into my brain from 3 different conflicts was more than I could stand.
Yeah.
And, my wife says, "Well, okay, just know I love you and go to bed. Go to bed." And I woke up the next day, and I felt that much better. I truly did. And I told she said, "How do you feel?" I said, "Well, you know what? I think I'll go back one more time." Well, it ended up I stayed the whole course, which thank God I did. Those guys were great guys. I was wrong, of course. And at the end of the course, you have to write a short story about yourself. 2 or 3 pages, I think, is what they recommend.
Yours was 9.
Mine was 9.
Front
and back.
Single space.
Single space.
Yeah.
Yep. And matter of fact, John was at the graduation and got to hear it.
Yeah.
And when it was all said and done, a couple of guys, reboot guys, a couple F3 guys said, "Hey, you need to continue on with that story."
Yeah.
I had no interest or no desire to do that. But Wayne Whitney, our brother Wayne Whitney, Navy man, encouraged me to do it. And so I went home one day and I laid out the outline. My outline was 18 pages. I went, okay. And I didn't touch it for 6 months. It took 4 years to write the book.
Yeah.
I just continued on from our combat reboot recovery days. And I'd never written a book before. No idea how to do it. It's all me.
So
Every word.
Our listeners can find the book on Amazon.
Yep.
God Sent the Dog.
Yep.
Great read. I know I made a social media post about it yesterday, and I've had a number of comments from different listeners and followers, and so encourage everybody to go check it out and read it and learn more about your story.
Yep.
We are only a 30-minute show, and so I want to kind of help progress us forward here a little bit because there's so much that you can share with us. And Dave, we could have you on here, countless times to share stories, and we're so grateful for you. But I want to key on a couple of things.
Sure.
Putting the Pieces Back Together is a show to help the community understand how they play a part. How they play a part in helping a veteran be accepted, how the veteran starts to unpack some of that baggage and feel accepted back into the community. And it's been so many more pieces than just simply about reboot or about the job or the marriage, but your service dog had an impact as well. Share a little bit about that with us.
Yeah, she sure did. I was having so much trouble with trauma. I was diagnosed with PTSD, anxiety, and all that goes with that. And basically, I was on the doctors prescribed the pills. Right, I was like this book, just sitting like a lump, and dumped the pills. Got a dog, changed my life. Changed my life. She's the best thing. She's with me 24/7, every day of the week for 9 years.
Yeah.
And it's this dog's commitment to me that's remarkable. Is her commitment to me more so than my commitment to her. She never complains. She's always there. She's ready to go. And
Unconditional love.
yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. And I can't imagine myself without her.
And so it's all about a community. It's about how the community can come together, whether you're supporting housing organizations like Purple Heart Homes, organizations that provide service dogs, whether you're just reaching out to a veteran like one of our previous guests, General Schwanek, said, ask them about their service. Don't just say thank you, but ask them where they served, when they served, what they'd like to share about their service. Engage with them and communicate with them. Be able to help them understand that they're appreciated.
Recently I've had the opportunity to do that thanks to our community here in Statesville. I would like to thank GG's of Statesville for allowing us a book signing twice actually, and the Coffee Lodge down on Buffalo Shoals Road and the Patriot Store. Those folks have come to me and said, hey, we want you. We want you to come, and we want you to promote your book in our stores, and you can do it however you want, whenever you want, and we're just so happy to have you. And that was something I did not expect.
Yeah, that's cool to be wanted too.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So I'm much grateful to those folks and everybody in Iredell County, actually, that supports us, Purple Heart Homes, and the others.
Yeah. Awesome, man, Dave. Dave, thanks so much. You mean a lot to me, and we've been friends for a number of years now, and not a week goes by that we don't talk to one another, and so grateful for you and for Don Rahimi. Thank you for being here, and Dita, thanks you for coming. She's excited, I can tell. So it's second nap time.
I've got to say, I noticed that she never barks at me. That's one thing my dog always does at me. She always barks at me.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm
She
not
knows
sure
you.
exactly why.
Yeah, she knows you. Yeah. Right.
One last thing, please.
Yeah.
Brad,
Yeah.
pass that to John. I'd like to present that to you, John.
There
Thank
you
you
go.
so much.
Look at there. He even signed it too.
I
man.
hope you enjoy
and
it.
Dita signed it.
Dita signed
So
it.
Dita
That's the
signs
best.
every book. She's
That
got
is
a
the
little
best.
paw print on
is
there.
really
That
cool.
is fantastic. So thanks, Dave.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Dave.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
So we're grateful.
Definitely cherish that.
We got that's a great show, man. Thank you for coming on.
Thank
and
you for having
and the hits keep coming. Next week we're gonna have a fantastic show with a really special guest next week, and Michelle Knapp.
We're up past the number of listeners that I can count on two hands.
Yeah, we're up to. I think we're up to 13.5 listeners now. You have to aggregate into average now.
Oh, so it's not that you're counting
13.5.
Dita as a half a listener.
No, yeah, we're up, and we're trending upward though. It's getting viral.
And that's great. And for those folks that are contacting us and saying thanks for the show, appreciate that. But please send in some questions, send in some stories. I know we got a number of veterans out there, and you got some funny stories that you'd like to share.
Yeah, I would say if there's somebody out there that you know that might be a good guest on our show, send us a recommendation. We'll be glad to do that. So,
and speaking of Fifth Street Ministries, we delivered the 2 tiny homes this week.
Oh, it's going to be awesome.
That are going to be going there
Yeah.
to help homeless veterans, and so we're really proud of that. And everybody contributes to that. It's not just Purple Heart Homes. There's about 10 foundations that contributed to that. And I can even say Dave and his book contributed to that as well.
That's right.
Sale proceeds, Dave donates to Purple Heart Homes, and we're grateful for that. It makes a difference. Every little bit makes a difference, and
really
it
does.
takes a community. And so we're so thankful for all those listeners that are contributing, and thankful for all the support.
Well, good luck to you on your New Year's resolutions as your New Year's resolution.
I
Good luck to
don't
you
think
on
I
that.
can get this one wrong.
I don't think you can either.
I'm
That's
bound for
fantastic.
success.
Yeah, we'll see you next week with Michelle Knapp from Fifth Street Ministries. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks
Happy
for
New Year.
listening. Happy New Year.